Is the Astros' reign of terror finally over in the American League West? It's been reported that they've been having conversations with teams about Kyle Tucker, and they've been listening to offers on Framber Valdez. Obviously, Tucker is entering the last year of his contract, and Framber Valdez is making a good chunk of change. But for the most part, we're just going to talk about Kyle Tucker in this one because he has had some real rumors about him recently, including between the Cubs and the Astros making a trade,
Mhm.
and the Yankees making a trade. And in return, the Astros are asking for the world, rightfully so. Kyle Tucker is one of the best outfield bats in baseball. And from the Yankees specifically, the Astros want to get Luis Gil, 2024 Rookie of the Year starting pitcher, in return for Kyle Tucker. Now, the Yankees, of course, did miss out on Juan Soto. Using Kyle Tucker to refill that position out there in right field isn't the worst idea in the world. It is, however, a 1 year stopgap for them. But for the Mariners specifically, Kyle Tucker leaving the American League West is something that I think we can't understate how important that would be because he is a terror to the Mariners and also kind of signals the Astros, they never want to rebuild, they always say.
Mhm.
But they're probably going to lose Alex Bregman. They're talking about trading Kyle Tucker, and they're talking about trading Framber Valdez. For the Seattle Mariners, Joe, I think it's so important to see that this is a dynasty that is slowly, I don't want to say it's crumbling, because it's not necessarily crumbling, but it is certainly losing steam as we head here into 2025 after losing to the Detroit Tigers.
Yeah, the sun is setting on like this core, I think, for the Astros. It's been sustained for a long time, but this core group where they pushed off extending Correa because they had to pay Bregman. They pushed off paying Bregman because they had to pay Tucker. How is that really going to shape out if they trade Tucker or trade Framber Valdez? It's like this American League West in 2025, as it stands right now with the rumors circulating, feels about as wide open as it could be for the Seattle Mariners, specifically to kind of like take reins of it. Because you look at the teams that are going to be competitive. I mean, it's hard to say that it's not just Astros, Rangers, Mariners again. Sure, the Angels have made some compelling moves with getting Yusei Kikuchi, and like, but then they're talking about trading one of their outfielders. Like, sure, I don't know what the Angels are doing. The Athletics, I mean, they could be a sneaky team that just like pops. They get a lot of like similar to like the like mid 2010s Astro or Athletics, where they've got a lot of young controllable players that just happen to pop and then they trade them. Right? They were competitive even without spending a ton. I mean, there was rumors that they were thinking about spending on Max Fried. So like, where are the Athletics at? Like I'm not gonna write them into the competitive bracket quite yet, but if the Astros move on from Kyle Tucker or Framber, I mean, I'd prefer Kyle Tucker. If I'm being honest with you, to
Yeah,
be out of
Mariners
the
see Framber pretty well.
yeah, I'd prefer Tucker to be out of the American League West. Yeah, that to me signals that the Astros don't believe that they're going to be able to extend him, which is one good long term for the Mariners because then he's out of the AL West for even longer. The returns so far haven't really been super like rebuild mode like you're saying, like Luis Gil from the Yankees, and like if there's something else added to it, like sure, that is another good piece for them to add that is a pitcher long term for them that will be cost controlled and a guy that's going to be on their roster for a while that's going to be pitching the American League West against the Mariners. Like he's a pretty darn good pitcher. That's someone that I could definitely see with especially like how injury bugged the Astros were in 2024 could be very interested in. From the Cubs, which is my probably preferred landing spot for him because he's out of the American League altogether. If he goes to the Yankees, the Mariners still got to see him a fair amount. If he goes to the National League, it's a little bit better swimming, I think, for the Mariners as far as just who they got to play all the time in 2025. Seiya Suzuki and Isaac Paredes were the initial conversations. And that's kind of scary. To me, that's not as big of a step back, I think, as people maybe are like making it out to be. Like, sure, Seiya's nothing defensively, should not be like valued anywhere on the field. He's a good hitter, but that's about it. Kyle Tucker does 5 tools very well. Seiya does probably 2 of them. Isaac Paredes, I think, could be a similar conversation. Like maybe you're getting 5 tools out of Seiya and Isaac Paredes, whereas like you're getting all 5 out of Kyle Tucker, right?
Mm-hmm.
Him going to the Cubs I think is my ideal situation, just because like you said, you're playing him a lot less, and yeah, even like he's basically said that he's going to hit free agency. Like he's not signing an extension unless he thinks he gets what he's going to get in free agency. But regardless, the fact that the Astros have talked about trading both of those guys, and also the fact that it seems like they haven't budged a ton on what they've offered Bregman, and he's been said like, yeah, if you don't offer me more, like I'm going somewhere else. It's kind of like the vibes that we're getting. This Mariners team is as poised as ever to win the American League West should the Astros not be as strong next year.
And I feel like we've been saying that for years now, which is what sucks. Something, 10-game lead, something,
Sure.
I think that's the thing is they said specifically that if they trade Framber or if they trade Kyle Tucker, it's not going to be in a rebuilding effort. It's going to be to make the team better. And honestly, is the team better with Isak Paredes and Seiya Suzuki? Maybe, not defensively, but maybe. I mean, Isak Paredes, all of his power is to left field where the Crawford boxes are. He's going to hit 50.
Yeah.
And Seiya, I mean, like you said, he's nothing defensively, but he's a good bat. He's one of the better hitters in the National League. And I think that makes the Astros offense all the more potent. Adding Luis Gil, I would prefer, I would prefer he go to the Cubs as a Mariners fan because we don't have to play Kyle Tucker as much, but
that trade package makes them better than what the Yankees probably give up.
Exactly, which is why if it's Luis Gil, I feel okay with the Mariners hopefully even dodging Luis Gil once in a while.
Sure.
Whereas, with Paredes, and obviously there would be more to it than just Luis Gil. I'd be interested to see what the packages are. It's very preliminary talk, so nothing is imminent. Like these talks may have never progressed, and clearly there's got to be more work to be done because these trades didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so Kyle Tucker's a guy who I think makes a lot of sense for the Yankees. And if he is out of the division for the Mariners, we saw the Rangers go out there and add Jake Burger as like a DH for them. Obviously, they re-signed Nathan Eovaldi, but for the Mariners, they just got to start moving, man. Like the division, like you said, is wide open, and maybe they're waiting for Roki. Like maybe that is officially what the Mariners are waiting for, and we're not going to hear anything until the middle of January when spring training starts a month later. I don't know what the hell they're doing, but with where the team is at right now and with what we've heard about different teams around among the American League West, the Mariners should be taking full advantage of what they're seeing right now, where the team that has won the division and been to the championship series almost every year for the last decade, almost.
And this should end the run. And that'll do it. The Motown magic continues. The Tigers sweep the Astros.
I think the Mariners need to take advantage of that. They've been so close multiple times. They went toe-to-toe with the Astros in a division series, got swept. We all know the story. They had a 10-game lead at the beginning of last year, lost it. We know the story, have continued, but they've been better than the Astros in head-to-head over the past 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so because of that, it's clearly not the big bad Astros anymore. They're going to be missing a lot of their core guys. And sure, if Yordan can stay healthy, if Jeremy Pena can take the next step, if Yainer Diaz can take the next step, like sure. But the Astros are no longer the big juggernauts as they were a couple of years ago. And I think the Mariners really need to realize that.